So you can see this line on this spool is pretty low. They're going to help me use my old line. It's about 2 years old, and I've got this line exposed here, and there's fresh line inside the spool, and they're going to transfer that to the outside and put a backing of 30-pound mono on this.
What we're going to do is we're going to tie what is called a modified albright. And the reason why we're doing that is just to get the proper spacing as far as on the spool. So the first thing you want to do is take your line that you're going to use for backing, bend that in a U. Now the next thing you want to do is take a length of the line that's on the spool, and you're going to drop that through the center. Once you drop that through the center, you need to use your pinky. This pinky is your control. So you take that, grab all 3 lines, and you're going to twist it up 4 times, going away from the pinky. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back 7 over on top of it, going back towards the pinky.
This is called the albright knot?
Modified albright.
Modified albright.
So this is the 7 times. Now, remember I told you that the pinky is the control? You're going to take the tag end of the line and put it in the same direction as the pinky.
It's right there on the floor.
Boom.
See that brown box right there? Brown box.
Now the next thing you're going to do is grab the line and slide it down towards the end. Okay? And what I use, you could use a pencil, pen, I use a dowel. And what I'm going to do is wrap this around. And as I pull on this line, it's going to tighten up, and you'll notice that the line, as it tightens up, is going to change color, so you'll know how much to pull it.
It changes color just because it's getting
tightened up. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is pull on this tag end, not as hard as I pulled on the first one, but what it will do is make this nice and smooth. So I'm pulling that down, boom, and then I'm going to go back to the original one and tighten it again. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is take this,
I put it back.
cut off the
tag end,
but I'm going to cut this and leave a little bit of fuzz on here. That's just for slippage.
Right.
Now this other one, what you're going to do is when you cut off this tag end, cut it as close as you can without cutting the braid.
So that's not going to slip at all?
No. And there's your knot.
Okay.
Okay.
It's ready to be spooled.
Now it's ready for spooling.
Do you get a lot of guys coming in to reverse their line?
Yes, we do. Well, we try to save people money by doing this because it's a shame to waste that bottom end of the line, because you never ever get down that far.
So what's this contraption you've got here?
This is our line machine. For safety's sake, I'm going to ask that you stand to the side. But if you notice, when I fill up the line's coming off the same way as it's going onto the spool, so you're not going to have any line twist.
Right.
Yards.
Okay, perfect.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to reverse this line back onto a different spool.
We have to do it 2 times to get the mono down at the base of the reel and put the fresh braid out.
I don't really like this type of tape that they have on here. I like using a little bit of electrician's tape.
Okay.
So if you're tying braid straight to the spool, what happens is you can tie your knot and then lay a piece of electrician's tape right across it, and as you spool it, then it'll tighten up.
Okay.
Okay, it'll help prevent from slippage.
You don't like that masking tape? It's a little bit slippery. It looks
Yeah,
like.
it's still a little slippery, won't grab as well. So as you can see, this is still good braid. We're going to have to reverse this one more time.
Yeah, originally about a 300-yard spool of braid, and probably only the top 100 yards got used. So after a year or two of fishing, it's always good to reverse your spool, and you can get twice the use out of the braid that you buy.
Now we're going to put it back onto the spool. So if this was braided line, the first thing I would do is take this, take the line, wrap it around twice, and I'm just tying a uni knot.
That's if it was braided, you said?
Yep, I would do this with braided, but I use it on my regular stuff. Tighten that down. Next thing I would do is take a piece of electrician's tape.
Just a small piece like that?
Just a small piece, lay it across. And that's just enough for it to grab.
And you don't necessarily have to do this if you're using mono, is that correct?
Right, this is just to show you if you were using braid.
Right. Real quick, can you say what are the benefits of having a full reel?
Well, number one is when you reel with a full spool, your speed's going to be a little bit higher.
Right.
Also, your drag setting is going to be much more sensitive with a full spool.
Okay.
The lower your spool is, the tighter the drag is.
And you can cast farther.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, this is High's Tackle at, what's the address?
40 Chestnut Ave, South San Francisco.
All right. And your name?
Jonah.
Jonah. Thank you, Jonah.
You're welcome.
They got everything you need for sale here. All these reels. All the reels on the wall. Braided line and mono line on the wall too. And with these you don't have to buy 300-yard spools. You can buy it by the yard. It's really cost effective, especially if you're putting a mono backing on your spool. Swim baits. Everything. Pole holders. Artificial worms. Poles, really nice poles too. And they've got these waders here and a full spool.